Uh, hey everybody, welcome to this week in wrestling. I'm your host from Florida. Taking over hosting duties tonight will be Mr. JP. I just had a rough day and I need to take a minute back. Joining me tonight is JP and Heather. How are y'all tonight?
Doing good, man. Tired, but I'm doing all right. Looking forward. I'm on a couple of days vacation after Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow we're going to be going and visiting somebody that everybody knows. We're pretty excited about it. But other than
Uh,
that, we're doing good, man.
Also joining us on call is Trek tonight.
I'm good, man. It's just been a long week for everyone, and hopefully the weekend gets better for everyone too.
And I hear you on that. And last but not least is everybody's favorite Miss Ronnie tonight.
He's asking how you're doing, Ronnie.
I'm doing good. Getting ready for the big Mother's Day weekend.
It's Mother's Day. Don't get excited.
It's a weekend for me.
Exactly.
Just making sure everybody knows to go out and get their mom something.
Slap my mom upside the head. That's right. I'm just kidding. I love my mom. My mom's fucking good shit. Good
What
talk,
do you want
Bobby.
to start off with? What do you want to start off with, JP?
Well, I think we started the conversation last. No, actually, you know what? I'm going to save that until last because it's a conversation that needs to be had. But we actually have the top 10 reasons why wrestling will ultimate, not just AEW, everybody. It started out as AEW, but the more you listen to the top 10, we'll talk about it. You'll understand what I am saying and how I'm saying it. I hope. Unless people out there want to read into what I'm saying. But they're wrong. Um, let's start out with stuff that's happened in the last week. Well, Monday Night Raw sucked ass. SmackDown sucked ass. NXT was okay. I mean, it was all right. Again, NXT and I'll go into it, but with this top 10 thing, I just they're better at storytelling, but the wrestling, Bianca Belair is a fucking shitbag. I don't know what people see in her or what it is about her that makes her. I just don't see it. She acts like a fucking 15-year-old hood rat. I don't want to fucking see that in wrestling. So yeah, Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan are tag team champions. Who cares? What is WWE doing that's so wrong? Everything. They're doing everything wrong right now. They don't know what they're doing. I don't know. What's newsworthy out there?
Well, Kurt Angle's got a WWE producer role that he's been training for, so that looks like the avenue that they're taking him down since his retirement.
I hope he knows what he's getting himself into. Why I think that Vince keeps these people on staff because they don't want now this I can see. He doesn't want them going to AEW. He don't look, I'm going to tell you this right now. Everybody that thinks Kurt Angle's going to be a good producer, do you know what producer is? It's the booking of the matches. They're the agents for these matches. Ultimately, Vince McMahon is the producer. They're just giving him that title to make it look good. That's all it means. Ultimately, Vince has the final say so on fucking everything. Why he hires these people, I do not know. Just saying. That's what I think about it. I could give two shits whether or not Kurt Angle wipes his ass with Vince's toilet paper.
Well, the other thing too is, I mean, the comfort because he's been with WWE for so long.
Right, right. But you know,
It's
Kurt Angle wants to book stuff the way it should be booked, and Vince won't allow it. He's gonna try and he's gonna give his ideas, and Vince is just gonna ultimately shoot him the fuck down. I mean, he's done it to everybody else.
right. Well, I mean, and shows, even with the shows, especially Monday's show, like we found out right before the show that the head writer was fired, and of course Vince is out there trying to explain things and fumbling over
Right.
and not getting coherently across to anybody in the
No.
crowd or TV.
He mumbled over, he stuttered over his words. Bad.
Yeah.
But what else is out there? I know there was something. Oh, John, let's talk about it. Jonathan Good. Everybody know who Jonathan Good is?
Yep.
Well, I know you do, but I bet you a lot of people don't. He's also known as Dean Ambrose. He's not going anywhere. He's making a movie. That whole thing was about him making a movie. Interesting, huh? What do you think of that? Or,
I think he did a good job of hooking the fans.
but how did they hook the fans?
No, I mean just like getting them all interested and stuff and what he had to say.
It's true. That's true. I was gonna say they didn't hook anybody into wrestling.
No.
And the funny thing is he's playing an MMA fighter who goes into wrestling. Which why don't they have him as a wrestler going? I don't fucking get it. Don't make any sense. But whatever. Ronnie, what do you think?
Well, I was going to say the promo itself was more entertaining than anything that WWE's done storyline. And it did. It got people talking. It got people speculating. It did what it should have.
But here's the thing, and we'll talk about this when we get into our discussion. Mm-hmm. When WWE, they don't have the money to produce stuff like that. They would run out of money if they continued producing. If they always produced something like that, they would run out of money. That shit's not cheap. That shit is not fucking cheap. I bet you that cost at least $30 million to $40 million to do.
And it was only a 30-second promo.
This stuff's not cheap. Because you use CGI and graphics, and that stuff is expensive as hell. Look at how much it cost them to fucking do Marvel.
Even better.
The Ensky.
Casper the Friendly Ghost live action that Bill Pullman did.
Yeah. What about it?
There is a video out there where he sat there and he said there was supposed to be this whole musical scene where he ended up touching the ghost, and with that happening and them doing that in another scene as well in that movie, it would have put the movie into the $1 trillion mark rather than the $1 million mark.
See, and that's just the little things, Casper. Right? It's just the little things that cost a lot of money. Bobby, you can turn your camera off, brother. You can turn your camera off. He's not feeling well, everybody. So,
When you got the situation, Lars Sullivan's coming out now with apologies.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that. You know, and again, I don't. This is just. I have not heard anybody but Big E say that they are aware of it. I don't know if that means that he has said it or if that, you know, and that's on old message boards. I'm going to be honest with you. I get it. It's wrong. But people change. You give them a chance. I don't know if he said anything recently. I know what he said about Jeff Hardy a long time ago. I feel the same way he does. Daniel Bryan. You're gonna hear what I'm saying, and Ronnie's probably gonna get what I'm saying. Daniel Bryan looks like a homeless midget vegan. He does. He looks homeless. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I know everybody likes Daniel Bryan, but I don't know. Lars Sullivan, what he said a long time ago, I guess. That's what I'm
Some
hearing.
of it, I'm gathering, he said a long time ago. I don't know if it's all been said a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't know. We don't know until we know the whole story. WWE's trying to sweep it under the rug because it was in the past. Sure, social media stuff from the past is going to come up. It happens. I'm pretty sure the WWE is well aware of who they're hiring.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, with everything, it's with any person in the limelight. Stuff comes back to haunt you or bite you in the butt later on. But yeah, I mean, would they have invested moving him up and putting him on the main roster to do what they were going to do with him, knowing he had said this?
Mm-hmm.
And dealing with his anxiety issues.
Right, and with that was the speculation too. But even with hiring him, this is stuff, and we see it in everyday life. Stuff that comes up 10, 15 years down the road is now being brought to light now, and people want explanations for it, or people want justice for what was said or done 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, the Brewers had a pitcher last year that stuff happened to. And he did it when he was 16, 17 years old, a kid. And they come after him last year for this. Brewers fans wanted him released. They didn't want him associated with the Brewers. They didn't want this. They didn't want that. As soon as he started pitching great, they shut the fuck up.
Right.
It'll pass over. It'll blow over. Something that happened a while ago should not affect what the person is today. If he's the same way, then get rid of his fucking ass. But if he's not, let it go. Sorry.
Right.
That's just how I feel. Do I condone what he did a long time ago? No. I didn't condone what the kid did a long time ago with the Brewers. I didn't condone it. But he was a kid back then. Kids make mistakes. People make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. If everybody was perfect, this world would suck ass.
Yeah.
We can never better ourselves if we don't make mistakes. Sorry, this is just my opinion. Now, if they keep repeat offenders, then get fucking rid of them. Get fucking rid of them. But if it was a one-time thing or whatever, it was a phase he was going through, I ain't gonna punish the guy. I ain't gonna punish the guy.
Because he's only what? Early 30s?
Yeah, he's like 32, 32 or something like that.
So if this was 15 years ago.
Right.
He was just barely a teenager.
Right. What else?
I mean, I can tell you, I mean, I'm not the same person I was 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, exactly. you were
15, 20 years ago, I was a whole different person. But I mean, yeah, he's 36 years old, and this is 15 years ago. I mean, he was a teenager.
He was 21.
Well, okay, I looked at it wrong. He is 30. So, yeah, I mean.
So he's 15.
Right, he was a teenager when this stuff happened.
Come on, people.
And the fact that people are saying message boards.
Come
Who
on.
the fuck uses a message board anymore?
Come on.
Right.
Come on. A 15-year-old kid, you're going to hold that against him? That's shit he said a long time ago. Shut the fuck up. Don't
sit there and pretend that you didn't say the same fucking shit in your high school.
Don't pretend like you're a goody two-shoe and never said a fucking thing about anybody. That's ultimately what this is. These elitist people saying that he's, whatever. He's a dickhead. He said that Jeff Hardy was, I can't even remember what he said he was, like a skinny railed druggie or whatever. Well, he was. He was speaking the truth.
I mean, Jeff Hardy's come out and admitted that.
Right.
And WWE's kept him around, and look at this shit.
But here's the thing. They put him in a segment with Jeff Hardy. And I'm pretty fucking sure that if Jeff Hardy worked with the guy, Jeff Hardy's okay with him because he said something when he was 15 fucking years old.
Yeah.
Good God. People are just so... What's the word I'm looking for? They're just so...
Oversensitive.
Yes, thank you. Oversensitive to everything that happens. Don't throw
Well,
that term around because everybody's an SJW if you're going to say that.
well, look what happened last year with the James Gunn and Guardians of the Galaxy. People went looking for trouble to find on him and got him fired from Disney. And they rehired him this year,
Right.
but it was because of tweets he wrote years ago, and he admitted it and he
See?
apologized. Like, we want him fired. It's like bullshit like that.
Yeah, I know. It's just people are just oversensitive. Whatever. I get it. It's wrong. You shouldn't do it. It's called bullying. Whatever. But still, I mean, come on. You can't be that oversensitive to something that happened years and years and years ago. Now, if they're a repeat offender,
Yeah.
then we've got an issue.
Especially
Right, it's not something he's continued into
No.
Not that I
today.
know of. Not that I know of.
Not that
And
anybody knows of.
and that's why Big E says yes, we are aware of the situation. But does that mean that he's that way now? Who knows?
No.
Nobody
Right,
knows.
and back then,
it's all speculation.
that was the form of communication. You got on the computer with AOL, or you got on and went into these chat rooms with groups of people, or a small whatever community that you belong to.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the kind of stuff that was posted, or this is the kind of stuff that you commented on, and that was what it was back then.
Right.
It's not something like he's on Twitter saying this now, or he's posting this stuff after an event.
Yep.
It was stuff that was said
It's just outright
way back
saying.
then,
Yep. No, totally
and
agree.
it could have caused a lot of what he was dealing with when he wasn't on TV.
Yep.
Exactly.
Totally agree. Totally agree. All right. Anything else?
WWE found a lost match, I guess, something with Bret Hart versus, I want to say, Tom McGee, and they're going to air it after Raw, and they're going to do a documentary on it.
That's what I wanted to do. Okay, hold on.
Say it again, Trek. I'm sorry.
WWE, that's okay. WWE found the lost match of Bret Hart versus Tom McGee, and I guess
Okay.
it really was lost until some fan found it in their collection. I guess Bret might have given it to her, and they're going to air it Monday after Raw, and they're also going to air a documentary about the search for the lost match.
Okay. Interesting. Anything else?
Oh, don't think so.
Nope, I don't have anything else.
Dumbass. Okay, so we're gonna get into this. Never mind. We're gonna get into this discussion, and I would really like to have Gina here because she's gonna think that I'm shitting all over AEW. I am not. I am not shitting all over AEW. I am shitting all over well, I'm not shitting on wrestling. I love wrestling. I am a hardcore fan. I have been there ever since I was 7 years old. But you have to realize what we're going to talk about could ultimately be the demise of wrestling in general.
Yeah.
And these are some really good key points. And I do want to thank Bruce Blitz. I watched his video and it makes sense. And I'm transferring it not into why AEW is going to fail. I'm going to say why or how wrestling can fail in the future. And ultimately, wrestling, I'm going to be honest with you, wrestling is dying at a faster rate than before they had that lull in 1991. People were just in droves going away from the product. Because ultimately, the product is the same as it was back then. That's where we're at right now. Are we ever going to get that Attitude Era back? No, I don't think so. And I don't want the Attitude Era back. All right. So number 1, nostalgia acts. This nostalgia acts is mostly for those that are starting up promotions like AEW. So this one is about AEW. Ultimately, here's the thing. Don't come at me with Chris Jericho. He is a nostalgia act, but here's the thing. Chris Jericho is not The Rock. He is not Stone Cold Steve Austin. He is not Hulk Hogan. He is not them big superstars that can cross over and become big superstars in doing other things in Hollywood, like The Rock, like Hulk Hogan. It's just not there anymore. Now, could there be a potential? They'd have to get somebody with big time charisma. I don't see anybody on AEW's roster that has that right now. Now, I'm not saying that they won't in the future, but will wrestling be around long enough for that to happen? I don't know, and ultimately, it'll be around, but I don't think it'll ever pick back up like it was. I don't think wrestling will ever come back to the way it was.
And part of that reason, I believe, is not just everything that was listed there. It's also the fact that censorship on TV has gotten a lot stronger.
It's true.
Yeah.
It used to be a lot more lenient than what it is now. So
True.
that's hurting the wrestling as well.
Exactly.
Interesting. Ronnie,
Well, and
go ahead.
even with the nostalgia acts, I mean, Chris Jericho is, I mean, going on to 50 years old or older.
Yep.
They're not going to be around much longer either, so there's no sustainability there with a nostalgia act. It would
Correct.
be a one and done. It would be a part-time contract.
Yep.
And then you're going to have to fuel that hopper again. Who's going to be the next one if there's no one that's been a breakout star?
Right. Trek?
No, I agree. Like Heather said, the censorship has gotten way over the line, and it's all thanks to it wasn't that bad at first, but it's all thanks to people being oversensitive, like you said, and then the whole thing at Super Bowl with Janet Jackson, where there was wardrobe malfunction, everybody jumped on that bandwagon, started bitching and moaning, and so it all got out of control.
Right. So nostalgia acts, one is nostalgia acts, and even with WWE, you hear me bitch about it all the time. I don't want them. But now I honestly know why they do it, because WWE can. They can bring The Rock back and get a pop from the crowd. Does he have to wrestle? No. But him just showing up, the ratings needle goes a little bit for the WWE. Just a little bit, not a lot. So, yeah, nostalgia acts. That's one. With AEW especially, that there is nothing out there right now that they have that is going to get you excited to. It's gonna retain that. Here's the ultimate thing. It's all about the fans. They already have the hardcore fans like me and Ronnie and Ryan and Heather and Bobbit and Trek and all those other JD, all those hardcore fans. They have them. They don't need to try and get those. They need to get those people that don't watch wrestling. And I'm talking those that know The Rock. But The Rock's not on AEW. Now, you can base the argument that Jungle Boy Jack Perry. But is he really a big enough star? Is he really a big enough name to get the casual wrestling or casual person to watch who he is? I can almost guarantee you, my niece watched Riverdale. This is Luke Perry's son. But if I was to tell you ask her if she knew who Jack Perry was, and she'd look at me like, who's Jack Perry? Well, that's Luke Perry's son. And she'd probably go, well, who's Luke Perry?
Exactly.
Even though she'd go, are you talking about the one that watches Riverdale, or is on Riverdale?
Yes.
Yes. Well, guess what? I hate to say this, but he passed away. So I mean, you can sit there and make an argument, but the argument kind of still, is he really a big enough star like The Rock that they could get to come and watch them? I don't think so. I just don't see it. And that's a lot of what you're going to hear tonight. Anybody else want to add on to that?
I was going to say the other name that, and just even crossover, if you know him from following football, if you know him from following MMA, if you know him from baseball, it's a name, household name that everyone knows. The other with MMA is Daniel Cormier. He's still fighting with UFC, but rumors have speculated that once he's done with UFC, he wants to be a commentator for either WWE or a wrestling promoter, or train to get into a ring and have competition. So if you can get them from another avenue or another sport that everyone knows as a household name, another one would be John Jones. That's been speculation with him too. But he, along with Conor McGregor, are nothing but trouble.
True.
Why would you want that kind of negative publicity just to get a household name?
Agreed.
I mean, especially with Conor McGregor, because we all know how he's been with UFC in and out of the octagon. And even for someone to just to have a name like that, I think you're asking for more trouble. It would bring in the new viewers or casual viewers, but is it all going to be worth it with that kind of a headache that you're going to be constantly doing damage control?
Correct. Trek?
No, I agree wholeheartedly. It's like, you know, you need a crossover star, and right now, the only one working for WWE is Cena, and he ain't going anywhere.
No,
so it's
Rock
like,
or John Cena is not going anywhere.
Right, and people keep telling me CM Punk's gonna be, and I'm like, CM Punk is not coming back.
And he's not a crossover.
And
star.
he's not a crossover star. And he's not. Again, he's not a draw. He might be a draw for the hardcore fans, but for the casual fans, like, who the fuck is CM Punk?
Yeah.
And I'm talking. When I'm talking, I want to make this point. When I talk casual fan, it's a fan that a brand new doesn't even know that wrestling really even fucking exists, or they say it is fake. Because them fans, either wrestling, either you have two types of fans. You have former fans and you have fans that now. Those former fans went away from wrestling because number one, the entertainment aspect of wrestling is not there. It's not there anymore. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that later too.
Well, even with CM Punk, I mean, technically he is kind of a crossover because he did go into the MMA world, but you kind of saw he went from wrestling into that, and everybody was like hyped to see how he was going to do. It was, I mean, a draw to see him, but look how it didn't pan out for him.
Right.
And the two matches he had, I mean, even Dana White said that he shouldn't have even been on that main event card that last fight.
Right.
Him or the Mike Jackson.
Right. But then again, CM Punk, yeah, you can call him a crossover star, but again, he's not a Rock and he's not a Stone Cold and he's not a Hulk Hogan. That's ultimately what it comes down to. You need that big.
You need a movie star.
You need a former wrestler who is a movie star now, and I'm talking Rock or Stone Cold or John Cena. You're not getting it. You're not getting John Cena, and you're not getting The Rock on AEW. Ever.
No.
Never gonna happen. And Stone Cold cannot wrestle. Him coming on to AEW and stunning somebody and then leaving is not going to be a draw anymore.
Well, I know all of us ladies would like to see Jason Momoa, and then him and Roman can do the Bella Twin switch.
Right. Well, moving on.
And also, I do want to bring this up. What happened if Punk walked out once? What happened if he does get his way, walks out again?
Yes.
Ultimately, that's where he was going.
That's where I was going. That's another thing with Punk, yes. Number 2, with AEW and a lot of indie circuits, they book their own matches. The wrestlers do. You seen what happened at All In. Now, at All In, that was the first time they did it. But ultimately, this is my thing. When you have wrestlers booking their own matches, they're like, well, I want this much time. I want this much. You're going to see some contention between people. Because I can tell you, Young Bucks want to be in the main event. They have said that we are making tag team wrestling a focal point. I heard them say it. They are making tag team wrestling a focal point in AEW. You cannot make tag team wrestling a focal point in wrestling. Ultimately, you cannot rely on tag team wrestling to put a promotion over. You can't.
Especially if you have limited teams. Somebody gets hurt on one tag team.
Everybody wants to know who the world champion is. That's who they want to be their guy. So, wrestlers booking their own matches, I am against that because and All In, prime example. Prime example. You ultimately have Billy Gunn, who's a former wrestler, producing matches. I don't know how great Billy Gunn is. We'll see. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, and like we were saying too, you're going to be booking your own matches. Let the egos start taking over, and I'm going to go over you, and you got the other one. Well, I'm going to go over you, and I'm going to be a bigger star than you, and you see it now with people with egos that think that they're untouchable, and that's going to cause a lot of contention, like we said, backstage.
You look at WCW, they had wrestlers booking their own matches, and you seen what happened.
Ooh.
I'm not going to do that. Hulk Hogan. Everybody blames Hulk Hogan about fucking burying people. He only used the creative card once. One time he used the creative card. But he used it that one time, and all of a sudden, nope, he's just that guy that doesn't want to put somebody over. That's not true. That's why WWE does not allow their wrestlers to have creative control. So that they don't have this kind of contention. I get it. People want good wrestling. Get somebody outside of wrestling that, not to book a match, but like me. Get me in there and let me book a match. Tell you what we want to see. You got to get somebody that has a passion. Not saying that the wrestlers don't, but they can only see one aspect of it. They see the wrestling, and that's it. Yes, they can see the promos, but there's more to it than that. There's more to it than wrestling in America, in the United States now. In Japan, it works because it's considered a sport over there. It is not entertainment. It is, but it's not considered sports entertainment. It is considered a sport. Wrestling is a sport. It is not entertainment. Over in Japan. That's why people like New Japan, because they are two totally different things. It is considered a sport. They treat it. Wins and losses matter. In America, wins and losses do not matter. They do not matter. It is whether or not you like who is wrestling, whether or not that guy has that it factor, whether or not that guy can cut a promo, or how hot he is. Tell me, Heather, why do people like Roman Reigns?
Why do they like him?
Yes. What is so attractive? I just gave it away. But what's
Well, I
so
was
good
gonna
about
say, he's
Roman
hot.
Reigns?
I was gonna say it's not. It's for me.
You look at Roman. Go ahead.
You asked the question. So.
Go ahead.
For me, it's the long hair and the tattoos.
But it's because women think he's gorgeous. He's hot. Am I right? You look at Roman Reigns' fan base, and I guarantee you, over 50% of the fans that Roman Reigns has are women. And you ask them, well, what do you think of his wrestling ability? I don't give a shit about his wrestling ability. I think he's hot.
I'm not.
Well, the same applies for Alexa Bliss. She can't wrestle for shit.
Exactly. Exactly. You hit it right on the head. It's looks. So, wrestlers booking wrestling, not a good idea. What say you, everybody?
Well, it's not even. Sorry, Chuck. Go ahead.
I agree, and it's like you said, All In. Look what happened. They booked their own matches. It almost didn't get on the air because somebody's match went over, and it's like, you know what? You're gonna have to have professionals to fix this shit because, like Eric Bischoff said, they almost had a Halloween Havoc. If you haven't seen Halloween Havoc, what happened there? I think it was 98, 99 when the show fell off before, right in the middle of the main event, right the day it started, because Hogan the Warrior had to go long and fucked up everything, and everything got screwed up. So what's gonna happen when that happens? TNT's not gonna let you do that. TNT's gonna be like, fuck this.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be right back for my stomach is acting up. I apologize.
Go puke, Ronnie.
Well, and adding on to what Trek just said too, I mean, what if one's creative storyline isn't what is coinciding with what you're thinking?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have out in the ring, it would look like a total clusterfuck because you're not going to sell the moves, you're not going to do anything to put the match over because your ego got hurt or you're disgruntled that your idea is possibly not used or it's not the way you want to do something and you don't act professional about it. I mean, it's everyday life too. I mean, your boss comes to you and tells you you have to do this,
mm-hmm.
and it's part of your job description, and you don't like it, you're disgruntled, you have to do it, but it's part of your job.
Yep.
Exactly.
You hit it right on the head. And so wrestlers booking their own shows, not a good idea. Not
especially when they have the biggest egos.
Yes, they're the ones that have the egos, and I'm talking Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks booking their own matches. They should not book their own matches. Now, if they don't book their own matches, then we can cross that off the list. But I ultimately see them having their own creative control. I know Kenny Omega will have his own creative control. It's already, because he's an executive vice president. So.
Well, when it comes to in and of their characters,
we got, trust me, Arushin Shu, we got more. We've only hit 3 of them. 2 of them. We've only hit 2 of them.
Well, and that was always the big joke too. What's Cody going to put himself into to win the belt? Exactly.
Number 3, and y'all are going to like this one, obnoxious fans.
Because we all know every promotion out there, including ROH, Impact, and New Japan, all have those obnoxious fans.
Obnoxious fans. And what I'm talking about is not those fans that think wrestling is real and, well, they're just dumb.
They are.
And this, that, or the other thing. It's the obnoxious fans that are going out and saying that WWE sucks. AEW fucking rules. AEW has not done a show yet. How do you know? How do you ultimately know that it is going to be off the charts fantastic? I don't see it. Because you're going to find out later on down the road why it doesn't work. It doesn't work in WWE either. The same vice versa. AEW fucking sucks because they don't have any superstars. Well, they don't, but they have a potential to have some.
They do.
So, yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what I see. The obnoxious fans, they're sitting there saying, well, this promotion sucks because this promotion sucks. Well, how do you know? They haven't had a show. And AEW again. AEW fucking rules. WWE sucks cock. How do you know? You haven't had a chance to watch a show yet. If you're going based off of All In, you have a lot of work to do. Because you need to get your timing down when it comes to shows like that. So obnoxious fans is number 3. Ronnie?
Well, and even with the, it's not just wrestling either. I mean, it's any sport or anything that's out there for public opinion. You got it with hockey, with the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The wrestling, we have seen it with what the fans want. They grant what the fans want. And look what we've got with Becky right now. The fans wanted Becky, and Becky right now, she
is failing hard.
Right.
Failing miserably.
So I mean, any fan base or any fan that wants a certain aspect of wrestling, who they want as champion, or we don't like how this is going, it could end up with the Bray Wyatt thing. I mean, it's like a mixed bag right now. Myself, I know with you, it's very confusing. It's not entertaining to me, but I have a son that finds it hilarious and enjoys it and can't wait for the segment for 3 minutes to enjoy a part of the wrestling.
Right. Why Society, whether Ring of Honor owns the rights to All In, it don't fucking matter. Who ran that show? Cody and the Young Bucks. Where are Cody and the Young Bucks? They're with All Elite, so everybody thinks that AEW. That's what I'm getting at. So where was I going to go? Anybody else got anything? Trekkie, you back yet? Good talk.
No, he's still muted.
Now, number 4, Kenny Omega. I'm going to throw Roman Reigns in there. This is going to work. This is where it's going to come down to The Rock and all this, the superstar stuff. Kenny Omega, Roman Reigns are not draws as far as wrestling goes. They cannot drag in the casual fans. Yes, you have the hardcore fans. Roman Reigns, honestly, has more of a chance to be a bigger draw because of who his cousin is. Not Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, although he is a great talent, I said it last night. I've watched Kenny Omega. His promos are not very good. When he says good night and goodbye, it's like, thank God. Because he sounds like he's having sex with the microphone. I do not want to listen to that. The way he talked. And if he talks like that, does not have it. As far as wrestling ability, he has it. But he needs more than wrestling ability to get over. And he don't have that right now. So that's just me.
Well, and that also leads back to, like with the nostalgia acts, I mean, who that is just starting to watch wrestling, knows of Kenny Omega, other than New Japan, if they've ever seen New Japan.
Right.
And the older fans that have watched New Japan or the other promotions with him or starting out of what he did prior to becoming the star with New Japan and being on the All Elite podcasts and stuff like that, and his gaming. Some people, they might get a little bit with that crossover with the gaming industry because he does a lot with that. Who else is going to know?
Most of those people are hardcore fans.
Right, but I mean, you got some of the newer the younger ones now, because I think he has done like the podcasting where he did the crossovers with Xavier Woods with the up, down, down. So there was a little bit of exposure there. So it's not just the older fans and the middle ground. You've got newer ones coming in that don't know, like we had said earlier, with the nostalgia acts. We got us hooked. We know who they are, but if he's that bland on the mic and that's their first time tuning in and seeing him, what's going to appeal to them? His promo skills, his wrestling skills, or the whole thing?
Yep. And again, who is the draw? Who is ultimately the draw? They don't have anybody right now. And honestly, without The Rock or Stone Cold or John Cena, WWE doesn't have a draw either.
No, it doesn't.
They really don't.
And that's why they keep bringing The Undertaker back.
And that's why they keep on bringing The Rock back. That's why they keep bringing Stone Cold back. That's why they keep bringing John Cena back. Even though John Cena hasn't fully retired.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can see right through what WWE is doing. They say that Roman Reigns is a bigger star than... I've heard it. Roman Reigns is a bigger star than John Cena. You are smoking absolute fucking dope right now. You can honestly sit there and tell me that he is a bigger star than John Cena or The Rock. He's got the potential for it, but he needs to fucking get whatever he's got out of his fucking ass and do something with it. But WWE's ultimately become this entertainment conglomerate that it's just whatever. No-name roster, WWE doesn't really have a no-name roster, but AEW does. A lot of those indie circuits, NXT they have no-name roster.
Yeah.
They have guys that they're trying to build into their WWE moniker, but there's really, again, I suppose you could throw in the WWE has a no-name roster, but you know some of the superstars. You know the superstars.
Yeah.
They're just not draws.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we could talk about the no-name roster in AEW, but I'm not here to slander AEW. I am not. I mean, it sounds like I am, but I honestly am shitting on the wrestling industry as a whole. Right now, the wrestling industry is not in a good way. It is not. This one is number 6, the WWE brand itself. And the reason why I'm going to shit on WWE here is I'm going to say this now. People need to stop saying the WWE is hoarding talent. These guys have I'm talking about new people coming in. They don't have to sign with WWE. They can go wherever the fuck they want. They're free to do it.
However, all you have to do is go and watch The Table for Three with Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and Ricochet, and listen to exactly what they say. The ultimate end game is always to end up in the WWE.
No, you're right. But the WWE brand itself is holding all those other ones back. On the indie circuit, or AEW's they're going to be fighting an uphill battle with the WWE brand itself.
Yeah, they are.
Look at TNA. They tried the Nostalgia X, and I forgot to mention this. They tried the Nostalgia X way back when Kurt Angle left and
Sting, Jeff
Sting
Hardy,
and all
the
them
Hardy
guys, the
Boys.
nostalgia acts. I mean, the nostalgia acts ended up, they overbooked them. Week after week after week after week. Sting, fucking 50 years old, still fucking wrestling like a world champion. Was he good? He wasn't bad, but I wouldn't say that he was Sting that I remember. So WWE brand holding back. And the WWE, and I said this the other day, the WWE is more than just wrestling now. It is, they make movies, they make music, they do merchandise. They're a t-shirt company, everybody. A t-shirt company. AEW is a t-shirt company. They have to make money somehow. There's nothing wrong with being a t-shirt company. And you know who I'm throwing the quotations up at.
Yeah.
So it's no big deal. Being a t-shirt company is no big. WWE is a big t-shirt company. Who cares?
Well, and even
It's stupid. Fucking name
even
calling
now,
shit.
with the rumors and speculation is Goldberg. That the reason the WWE kept him around is so he doesn't go to AEW. But
Goldberg's a big boy. If he didn't want to sign with WWE, he wouldn't have.
Right.
And I fucking hate that. It's like, what are they holding something over Goldberg? Forcing? Come on.
Well, and that's any individual. I mean, look at Sasha right now. She has put her foot down. She's tired of it. She doesn't want to do anything, and they're basically. I mean, she's off TV. She's not coming back supposedly, and she's made that choice.
Yep.
But she's also hurting herself by doing that.
Absolutely. WWE's not going to release her. And they don't have to. Everybody's sitting there saying they need to release this. They don't have to fucking do shit.
Because they signed a legally binding contract.
Right. Right.
WWE's holding them to their fucking contract. And they can fucking do that. And for people to sit there saying they're holding them hostage, fuck you. They're not holding anybody fucking hostage. They have the fucking right. They signed that fucking deal. Deal with it. If you don't fucking like it, you shouldn't have signed the motherfucker in the first place. That's the bottom motherfucking line. So fucking sick of that. That set me off. I'm sorry.
No, but I mean that's with people out there with the rumors saying that this is the only reason that Goldberg is with WWE because they don't want him. They however they did his contract is so he would not go to AEW. It's the same thing. We have talked about this many times. Brock Lesnar would hold UFC and WWE in each of his hands and would hold out to whoever gave him the most money because Brock has always been about the money. And WWE would offer him, he'd go to UFC, Dana White would think, great, I've got him, we're going to sign this. WWE steps in, offers him more, and what's he do? He signs with WWE.
Yeah.
So they're the ones making the choice to sign, to not sign, to go elsewhere, to go off into the sunset. It's not WWE holding a gun to their head saying, you sign this contract, you're not going to AEW or Impact or whatever.
Right. I'm very passionate. When I sit here and hear people saying, well, they need to release them because they're holding them back. Again, I said this the other day. WWE has the right, because they signed an exclusive contract with them. They signed an exclusive contract with them. WWE does not have to let them go. She can go ahead and lawyer up. But ultimately, she signed a dotted line. And if in the contract, it's probably going to state, we can do what we wish with you as far as talent goes. If we want to take the fucking title off of you, we're going to take the fucking title off of you. You're holding us hostage. You're in a sense, they're holding WWE hostage because of their talent. They think they're bigger than the WWE itself. And that is why they're doing what they're doing. They're like, no, fuck you. You signed this fucking deal. Read your fucking contract. Don't just sign a fucker. I don't know what's in her deal, but it's a standard WWE deal. I do know that. You are only allowed to, you have no creative control over your person as far as WWE goes. So
Well, and
don't come at me, well, she's going to get a lawyer. She's going to lose. Vince McMahon does not lose court cases. Never. This motherfucker beat the system with the goddamn steroid case against him. So what makes you think Sasha Banks beating the system over a contract is going to happen? I don't see it happening. WWE say you pay us back for your contract then and we'll let you go. Do you think Sasha Banks is going to give up all the money she has? I doubt it. I doubt it.
Well, and like we said too, I mean, she's basically screwing herself this way. And then if she does want to continue her career as a wrestler, how does that make her look going to another promotion?
Yep.
She's done it once. What's to say she's not going to do it to another promotion or do it to
when she's
someone
not
else?
getting used the way that she feels she needs to be used. That to me just that is just fishy as fuck. Oh, just because you aren't being used properly or the way that you feel you need to be used? That's kind of fucking bullshit. Sorry. I think it's bullshit. She needs to fucking just deal with it. If she didn't want to fucking do that, she shouldn't have fucking signed the contract in the first place.
Well, and that's anybody. I mean, you signed a contract, a legally binding contract. I signed a contract to own a home. I don't make my payments. Well, bank's going to come take my home. Right. And that's right there is you broke the contract between yourself and the bank.
Yep.
So the bank is going to step in. I can get a lawyer all I want. Well, I didn't make a payment because I didn't feel like making it, or the bank was closed that day or whatever.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm not going to win. I know that. I mean, I knew going into it. You sign the contract going into the deal, knowing what to expect, and if it doesn't go your way, hey, it's life, reality check.
Yep. And I'll stick by that until forever. Even if WWE releases fucking Sasha Banks, if they give in to Sasha Banks, then WWE might as well just fold it, because people are just gonna fucking say, well, you let Sasha Banks go, why can't you let me go? Exactly. I don't want to fucking be here anymore either. Well, honestly, I really think WWE should release some of their talent. They aren't using half of them, but they don't have to. So I'm on WWE's side on this one. I'm sorry. The talent does not have, exactly, same goes for Luke Harper. The talent should not dictate to the fucking WWE what they think. I'll put it to you like this. Would you walk up to your boss and say, I need to be in a bigger office because I've done more work than anybody else in this fucking office? What do you think your boss would fucking tell you?
Get the fuck back to your chair.
No shit. Go sit the fuck down and eat your fucking sandwich. I mean, seriously. And people seem to think, is she being used properly? No, I agree with that. I'm not arguing that point. Do I think they should release her? I think they should, because she's nothing but a cancer. However, I do side with They don't have to. They don't have to. They don't have to do shit.
In fact, the longer she fights them, they can extend her contract.
They extended Luke Harper's contract because he came back and they extended it for another 6 months.
Well, and even with her doing this, and they do give in to what she wants, then they're going to have the backlash of the other talent
That's
that's
what
going to do the
yeah.
same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I made mention of that already.
Yeah, that, I mean, well, I want to be champion, so I'm going to sit my contract out. And that's just going to cause more issues
Fucking
between WWE and the talent.
then Arusha too would be out of a job if he punched one of his bosses. If he did that, I wouldn't get fired, but I'd get reprimanded. But I don't think I could beat my boss up. My boss would probably whoop my ass. He's the same age as me and fucking military, so I'm not gonna fight. We're both pretty fucked up. We probably look like two assholes trying to pick a fight. He's got a bad back just like me. So, number 7, and this is where we're getting into the wrestling aspect of everything. It's the same old choreography. And what I mean by that is you see the same moves anywhere you watch. Anywhere you watch. It is spot after this, spot after spot after spot after spot after spot. And it's even in WWE. You've heard me in Basement talk about this. You've heard me and Ronnie talk about this. You've heard me and Heather talk about this. WWE is nothing but spots. They go from one spot to the next, to the next spot, to the next, to the finish of the match. And WWE, every single match ends in a finisher. The roll-up, and if you say, well, they do roll-ups, can you honestly tell me that Rey Mysterio Jr. can fucking roll up fucking Samoa Joe and beat him like that? Rey Mysterio is 170 fucking pounds. Samoa Joe is almost 300. How is that believable? That is just absolute fucking garbage.
Asinine.
Because Samoa Joe wasn't even to the point where he couldn't kick out of anything. Oh, but he rolled him up really tight. He's 300 fucking pounds. Rey Mysterio's 170. His legs are stronger than Rey Mysterio's body. Come on, people. Use common logic and common sense. That match should not have ended like that. Oh, but he caught him by surprise. But the ref is sitting there slapping the mat. You think he doesn't want to kick out? The fuck is that? Feed me that bullshit. That's just piss poor fucking booking and choreography, if I might say so myself. So same old choreography. The high flying shit. Everybody has done every fucking move there is. What more can there be done? What more can be done unless it's not done from a fucking ladder or they raise the ropes? People are getting more and more dangerous with their wrestling, and that is not what I want to see. I don't want to see a superstar getting hurt because they have to do a fucking 960 backflip off the fucking top rope. Come on. You don't need to see that shit. You think you do, but you don't. And that's what I'm ultimately getting at with Sasha Banks, Arusha, is she just finish out your contract and then move on if you don't want to be there. Whatever. Ronnie?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking as well with matches that you see now. You can kind of predict watching the shows or any pay-per-view. You know what spots are coming. You know when they climb the ropes, what they're doing. You know when they go on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they practice it. There's nothing new. You got to kind of watch what you do with any wrestler because you risk the chance of an injury. You risk the chance of hurting another individual and putting them out.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it's nice to have that as the fallback, but then you get so used to seeing it, it's just so repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of can predict everything.
Yep.
And we use the example at TakeOver of Johnny Gargano versus Ciampa. you pretty much knew everything that was going to happen throughout that match.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, sorry. Yeah, I can.
Hey, Sarah.
I mean, it's nice to see stuff new. It's nice to see different talent mixing it up. But then when you see it on a Monday, and then you see it on a Tuesday, and then you see it for 3 weeks after that, and then at the pay-per-view, there's nothing new. So unfortunately, you're getting the same old predictability.
Mhm.
Okay, we know this spot's coming. We know that spot's coming. Oh, we're getting to the end because they're getting ready to do their finisher moves. You know when Daniel Bryan goes in the corner.
Mhm.
You know when Shawn Michaels would stomp his foot. It's just, it just becomes so repetitive that you lose that interest, especially when it's the same two people.
Yep. Agreed. Yep. Trek, are you back yet?
Yeah, I'm back now.
Okay. What about you with the old same old choreography stuff?
It's not just same old choreography. It's too choreographed. It's like that they have, I mean, like with Brian. I think it was Ric Flair brought up the bit that he could see where Bret Hart was going a mile a minute. Like he had a certain amount of moves he would do to set up for the finish. He would like get run into the post. He would do this, and this. So he's like, but then the fans got tired of it after all. It's like they could count his matches down unless he put something in there like the newest one was the figure four around the ring post.
Mhm.
But then it's too choreographed. I mean, I get when it's stuff like Randy Savage and Ricky Steamboat, which was amazing at WrestleMania 3, but it was so choreographed you could see it coming a mile away. They don't teach spontaneity, and that's what they need to do. Do stuff on the fly. You could call the finish, you could call it starts. Don't call it in between. Just go out there and have a good match and just make the fans enjoy it. But if you do the same old shit, it's gonna backfire on you. It's like SSDD, same shit, different day.
Yeah. Okay, I was gonna say. All right. The modern pro style wrestling, number 8. We got 3 more to go. The modern pro style wrestling kind of falls into the same old choreography stuff. Now, the modern style pro wrestling is the high flying backflips and the ricochet stuff, the Leo Rush stuff,
205 Live stuff.
the 205 Live stuff. That's what everybody wants to see. I'm not a fan of that stuff. Y'all can have it. I find that shit unentertaining. Somebody is going, and ultimately, again, where is it going to go? Where is it going to go from there? When somebody's done something, now they have to take another step up. Like I said, you're going to have to raise the ropes where they're jumping off a rope 20 feet from the air. That shit just does not fly with me. It don't work. You consider, oh, that was pretty. But then you see it over and over and over and over and over again. It's like, okay, we've seen this how many fucking times? Why are we still seeing this shit? What is the big thing with it? Where is it going? It's ultimately the storyline with the Revival and the Usos. Where is that going? Where is that storyline going? And if you say it's going to lead to a match, well, no fucking shit. I knew that before they even started the feud. Because that's what it is. And somebody tweeted at me, say it's entertainment. Yeah, but it also has wrestling in the name too, you dumb shit. It's World Wrestling Entertainment. Take the entertainment out of it, it's World Wrestling. If you read their logo, it's WW. There's no E there. Don't feed me that fucking bullshit. Gonna make a wrestling match out of it. Come on. No shit. They have to do something, but where is it gonna lead? Who's going over? What where is this gonna go? Because ultimately, the Revival did I think it was entertaining? Yes. I thought it was entertaining. However, I'm going to say this. 2 top tag teams in WWE are in a comedy act where one of the teams they were shaving each other's backs. How is that entertainment? And yes, Bully Ray and all of them did the what was it, the icy hot fucking Oozy hot, or well, no, the Bully Ray and
the ass cream.
The ass cream thing. I didn't like it then. What makes you think I'm gonna like it now? I do not find that shit entertaining. I want to see good storylines, and trust me, that's not a good storyline. I want to see good storylines and good wrestling. That's what I want to see. You give me that, and I am okay with everything else. You give me good story. I don't care who you fucking push. You can push fucking Rey Mysterio. As long as you give me good storyline, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. The modern pro wrestling style, backflips, the high flying stuff, there are people out there that like it, but I am just not one of those people. And the thing with the high flying stuff, it doesn't compete with the entertainment of today. It's outdated. And we're going to get into that. It's outdated. It doesn't compete with Iron Man, who can fly around in the suit. Which, to me, that's not believable, because that guy would literally fucking disintegrate. But that's a whole nother issue. Yes, I get it. It is a movie. But, yeah. No. Not my cup of tea. Ronnie?
Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% with you. I mean, with the wrestling aspect of it, with the matches themselves, I mean, to me, that's what the wrestling's about. And when you get like the AOP, when they were doing, I mean, to me, I like them in NXT, brought them up, and they became a gimmick act.
Everything in WWE main roster is a gimmick act. If you can't see that, then I don't know. But
I mean, it's just, I mean, to bring them up and to be such a powerful team down in NXT, and to bring them up and then doing the AOPP act.
Right.
I mean, that kind of devalues them as the talent as well as them as a team. And now you've got, I mean, Otis and the other gentleman from the Heavy Machinery.
Tucker.
I mean, Tucker. So you see them with theirs, but theirs is kind of, I mean, it helps their team as well as it's also a part of how they are in the ring too. So it kind of goes together, whereas some of it doesn't. I mean, if you're going to have talent that's going to be a gimmick act, then have it flow into what they're doing with wrestling. Don't build a team up, make them look strong, and then turn them into a gimmick act or use them in a comedy.
There's a little bit of a difference, and I think what Ronnie's trying to say is everybody says, well, if you don't like what they're doing with the Revival, why do you like what they're doing with Tucker and Otis? Look, even down in NXT, Otis and Tucker were used as kind of like comedy. I mean, they can still wrestle, though. The difference between the Revival and them two is the Revival is not funny at all. They're not. They should not be meant to be funny. I just don't look at them. They aren't. It isn't selling. That's why people don't like it. They're not. They should not be considered a comedy gimmick. Now, if they put Edge and Christian in that position, that would be fucking hilarious. Why? Because they can pull it off. The Revival can't. That's the difference. That's the real big difference right there. So, yeah. Trek, Modern Pro Wrestling, did you mention on this?
No, but I know what you mean, and not only that, but doing all the, as you call it, flippy shit, and I've heard other people say that and stuff. it's cool and stuff that, but then everybody else starts doing it, and somebody's gonna get hurt, just like what happened with when it was Matt and Jeff and them doing all that stuff. They did it, and Jeff got hurt, and he was depending on painkillers for a while and stuff. So not only that, but then the stuff with the Revival, like you said, they're not meant to be comedic. Leave that stuff for the Usos. They could be comedic. Tucker and Otis could be comedic. Some of the other guys like Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins could be comedic too. I've seen them do
can't stand. They aren't funny. They aren't funny at all.
No, but I mean, like, leave them to do that stuff on their show, on their podcast and stuff. Not on their thing, but
right. So yeah. I'm gonna Ryan. I don't think they're being punished. Everybody seems to think they're being punished, but being used in a storyline, is that really punishment? I don't think so. I don't think they're being punished at all. Because I ultimately think the Revival is going to go over. I think they're going to win. This is the Usos trying to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not be the talent enhancement, but they're there to help get the Revival over. And they're failing because they put him in this fucking. This is how they figured they could do it. Put him in the comedy act. I mean, I jokingly said, I get what you're saying, Ryan, and I'm answering your question. I hope I'm not saying that you're a dork or whatever, because you're not. You're a good guy. Where was I at with that? What was I? What was I saying before I looked at what Ryan said? What was I saying? Trap, come on, what was I saying? I'm sorry, I lose my train of thought real easy.
We were talking about the Revival shouldn't be comedy acts.
Oh, I ultimately think the Revival's going over. I think they're going to win the tag team titles again. I don't think they're being punished. That's just my opinion, though. I could be wrong, but I don't think if they were being punished, they wouldn't. Yeah, that looks bad on WWE if they're doing that. Anybody else want to add anything else?
They're being punished, they'd be kept off TV entirely.
I agree. That's what WWE does now. If you're being punished, they take you off TV, period. It's dumb. It's laziness. You're right. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Arushin Chu. It's dumb and it's lazy. It's lazy booking. It's lazy story writing. And I'm pretty sure that they came up with that fucking that night, because they fired their head writer for Raw. Number 9, the SJW agenda. The SJW agenda. What does that mean to you? So if they do something in wrestling the SJWs don't like, they are going to shit all over it. In fact, those are the fans that you need to get, and they're never going to get them because of wrestling. Because you see intergender wrestling in AEW, the SJWs are going to shit all fucking over it. And they're going to say, take it off. They're gonna I hate to say this, they're gonna make the lives of those in AEW a living hell. If you know an SJW and have ever run into one, they make your life a they harass you repeatedly. It's sickening. But that's how these people are. I do not want AEW to fail, but this could kill them. It has hurt WWE. It has made them change the way that they do things. You know that whole Dean Ambrose with Nia Jax teasing the Nia Jax thing after the fucking, we thought we were going to get a fucking match? Really? Did you really think we were going to get one? I knew we weren't. I had a little glimmer of hope to get it. I don't care to see intergender matches. I'm not one of those people that is all about intergender matches. If it calls for it, then do it. But if to just have an intergender match, not called for. The SJW agenda will shit all over this if they do it. If they have an intergender match, people will shit all over it, and they will lose that fan base right away. Ronnie?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I know with how they're promoting it on their All Elite podcast that, I mean, it's this librarian gimmick where they've got a female and a male that they've selected. And I have a feeling that that's where it's going to lead to. And then I know the other big controversy with the All In was the Joey Ryan with the penises, inflatable penises on the stage.
That's
There were
another
people
thing.
upset about
That's another thing. And TNT won't allow that.
Well, and then the speculation is, oh, well, WWE's looking at Joey Ryan. Well, WWE is not going to have that.
No.
We all know that.
They're going to water Joey Ryan down so that he is boring as fuck, and they aren't going to use him because he owns Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and they're gonna hoard his talent. They are going to say the only way we will work with you is if you work with us and we share talent.
Right, and we saw all of this even with WWE last year, that when the agenda, well, not even the agenda, but when they had the women's evolution and they wanted to call it the Moolah with that trophy, how everybody jumped on the bandwagon and the sponsors were ready to pull because of it being named after her.
Yep.
And then you had X-Pac at the Hall of Fame. Well, wouldn't the name China, but then you're going to have the people saying, well, she was a drug addict. She was in Playboy. She did a porno. So you're not going to get away with it no matter what promotion you're in. But AEW, if they're going to cross that line or go right up to that line, then they're going to have issues.
Right. I agree. Trek?
We've said it before. We'll say it again. The worst thing WWE did was go public, and now they have to bow down to those stockholders. And if it was a lot easier when they weren't public because we got some good TV, and even when the sponsors were dropping out, you had 10 million other sponsors like, we'll take that place. It's like, we'll go and we'll give you our money and stuff. That now it's like we said earlier, the censorship has gone berserk. It's off the charts, and it's fucking up the product. Because if something doesn't get liked, those stockholders could jump in and say, do this or we do this. Just like there were rumors about the Firefly Funhouse, that the stockholders didn't like it, which I guess turned out not to be true because they're still going forward with it. But then the people lobby their little agenda, and they don't like it, but they won't give it a chance, but they won't wait to see the finished product, which maybe if they would actually be pleased with it and stuff. But they jump on every single thing they can, and they get it kiboshed. They get the kibosh on it. Well, I hate to tell them this, but there's one man in charge of WWE, and he can veto anything they fucking say, no matter who they are. Even if the sad thing is, though, like we said, the stockholders are more in charge than ever. If they could go back to private, I would love it if they went back to that. But the public, it's public now, and you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Unfortunately.
Right. And it's not just wrestling, it's anything nowadays. Look at the movies, Ghostbusters. I mean, anything that they can jump on a bandwagon and start the hype for, it's going to come to be. And like I said, it's just not wrestling, it's just anything out there. TV shows, movies, commercials.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's I'm a horror fanatic, as you guys all know, we've talked about before. It was bad back in the 80s where it was like Friday the 13th and like the parents groups would jump on it, but then like you had the MPA jumping all over it saying, you can't do that, we're going to cut your film up, and then now it's getting even worse because it's like, whoa, now you have to have this, and if you don't have this person would be the hero, we'll picket your movie and we'll make sure you're never seen again in public. It's getting fucking bad with everything.
Right. I agree.
It shouldn't be called SJW. It should be NFP, No Fun Police.
True.
That's on Twitter too and YouTube. I mean, Alex Jones lost his platform. You had Louis Farrakhan lost his platform.
Louis Farrakhan, yeah.
I can't even think of the other guy's name. I've seen, but I just can't think of his name. There was 3 of them that they had.
Laura Loomer, she lost her platform too.
Okay.
Well, imagine if it was George Carlin nowadays. Holy shit, he'd be
Yep.
It'd be real bad.
So, yep. So SJW agenda, man. I'm telling you, it is that bad. And people don't want something, they're gonna make it known, and they will make shit miserable for everybody else.
Absolutely.
Hey, Gorilla Strong, we're doing great. We're on our last topic of wrestling and how it will ultimately fail in the long run. And this goes for every single promotion, not just AEW, not just WWE, not just Ring of Honor. I think New Japan, again, will be fine because, again, it's in Japan, and that's what the Japanese like. The ancient entertainment. Now, they've modernized their ancient the entertainment. But again, like I said, New Japan is, they consider wrestling a sport over there, and they treat it as such. Not so much over here. And AEW, and I've been saying AEW a lot. I'm not shitting on AEW. I'm just letting everybody know what some of the things that could happen to AEW that could hurt them. Wins and losses in the United States do not matter. The hardcore fan, they want the wins and losses. I get that. But the casual fan doesn't give a shit about wins and losses. They only care, like we said earlier, if they're hot, if they're gorgeous, whether or not their tits are big, whether or not they have a nice booty, whatever. Seriously, am I right or am I wrong?
That's exactly how it's
No, you're right.
And the entertainment is ancient, and I'll tell you why. You look at Avengers, okay? You look at Avengers, Endgame, that's CGI. You can do whatever you want with CGI. You can't do that with wrestling. What you see is what you get. If you botch, you can't fix it. Unless you edit and record the shows. I know you're just drooling over, Mom. If you edit and record the shows, the only way that you can get anywhere near a program that does not look like shit. Because you see botch after botch after botch after botch. Like that match between Becky and Alicia Fox. I guarantee it, if that show was recorded, you would not see that match. They would redo that match, and it would be a squash match. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Well, and even when I started watching New Japan, it's like a celebration there with like the confetti and the streamers and who they bring out, and you can kind of see who like is treated like royalty over there when they come out. And again, what we're up against over here is when WWE goes to Saudi. It's what the prince wants, and you see how everything's laid out, and there's hardly anybody that cares what's going on over there.
Yeah,
when you're watching the crowd.
They don't know what's going on.
Right.
So
it's catch-22 really, because you've got the ones that go all out because it was a carnival style event, or it was an old Greco-Roman style, but then you've got what we got today, and you've got the people that are into it. You see people on their phones; they could care less what's going on,
and
you don't get.
They've
Yeah,
seen the same thing every week. You can only do so much. Again, it all comes back to the choreography. You can only do so much. You can't recreate the wheel. They're trying to recreate the wheel. Once the wheel's been created, you can't go any further. You can only upgrade the wheel. You can't recreate it. And that's another reason why that is probably the real big reason why wrestling will end up failing, because people will get sick and tired. You can only cut a promo so many fucking times about the same fucking thing, and trying to get fans interested in wrestling. For me, I don't want to see a 25-minute fucking promo. I want to see maybe a 2, 3, 4 minute promo and then a match. That's what I want to see. But I want to see a good 15, 20-minute match. I don't want to see this fucking 5-minute roll-up with fucking Rey Mysterio and fucking Samoa Joe. That's not a match to me. That's not wrestling. That's just, they're trying to tell a story, and a shitty one at that. It's lazy booking. Lazy storytelling. Anybody else got any other thoughts? Trek?
They're trying too hard. They either try too hard or they don't put enough effort. They need to find a nice middle ground where they can find it and like make the fans happy. You're never gonna make everyone happy, but if you can find that middle ground where everybody sees, be like, that was a good match.
Well, what
Let's
about
see.
what about the entertainment being ancient?
No, I agree. It's like I've said it before. I think on here that Raven has said it's very hard to come up with new stuff in the wrestling industry nowadays because you've seen everything, and all the smart marks, as they call them, smart marks. That's the term. Will be like, well, I've seen that before. You can't do anything new and stuff like that. And with new, we just talked about this, new, they crap all over it.
Yep.
I'd hate to have seen them when it was like we were talking about this before we went live, that when it was like Hogan versus Savage and it was a year built. It's like nowadays those fans would shit their pants and their heads would explode because, oh, they're not getting it fast enough. It's like, well, sorry, folks, social media ruined it for you, but I don't mind the slow build, the slow burn and stuff. That it's like,
Well,
but nowadays it's
and
instant
it's all going to
gratification.
come back to this. This is why people. This is really another good reason why wrestling sucks. It's the obnoxious fans wanting instant fucking gratification, and they don't fucking
Exactly.
get it. And it's like, well, where is this going? Well, you have to let the fucking story build. You can't have a fucking story finish in a day.
Right.
That's not storytelling. I'm not telling them to write a fucking book. They only have so many stories to tell. They gotta build. If they're gonna build stories, they gotta build the show around a story. They can't,
Right.
especially the main story of what they're trying to do. But they don't do that anymore, and that's another thing that's gonna kill not just WWE, because you can only do so many things at one time. I mean, how many champions? I mean. Not everybody is world championship material.
Right.
And right now with AEW, I don't see any really big. I mean, Kenny Omega is their top star, in my opinion. I mean, maybe Cody Rhodes is number 2. He's up there. The Young Bucks are never going to do a single run. They are tag teams. They suck separately. They look out of sorts separately. They can't have a singles match. They have to be a tag team. If they break up in AEW, they're in trouble. Unless they're in a match together, I do not see them succeeding. They are a tag team. So that's another thing. They break them up, they're in trouble.
Or if one of them gets injured too, then it might be real trouble.
And then one of them is going to have to learn how to fucking wrestle.
Yep. Or else you're just going to pull them off and put them both on the shelf.
Again, not saying they can't wrestle, but it's just one of those things.
Yep. And then it's like we've also, the last time we could go back to WCW, they changed the title 3 times, 4 times in one night.
Mm-hmm.
because it went from DDP to Sting to Goldberg or whoever's Nash and stuff. That's like not only that, but then you get more resets. Like, what did Impact do that was wrong? They gave it to people who didn't deserve it. They gave no build. They gave it to Eddie Edwards, and I love Eddie Edwards, but it's like that didn't make the ratings need to go up. They wanted instant gratification, like we said. You have to take time. You have to build people. You have to make people want it. You have to make people realize this is a top guy. AEW doesn't have them yet. They'll get some. I think they will get some. If they build some people up properly, I think they will get some. But if they rush somebody into there, they're going to rush somebody to get hurt, or else the fans are going to just throw it right back up, and it's going to be a Roman situation.
Right.
Right, and it's also the short attention span. And I mean, you have, like we have said, social media now, you order something, boom, you get it within 24 hours. And you don't get that when you're trying to tell a story.
Right.
Or you're resorting back to, yeah, the ancient, how'd they word it? The ancient entertainment factor. Well, that back then you didn't have spoilers coming out, or you didn't
Right.
have social media. You watched it week to week, and that's what made you tune into, oh, what's going to happen next week, or how are they going to play this out the next week. You didn't have it right at your fingertips for it to be spoiled or for it to play out on Twitter.
Right. I mean, like we were comparing it to like before we started call. Imagine if we had social media the way spoilers get out. Imagine if social media had gone around when Empire Strikes Back came out. We would ruin the freaking movie. So it's like the fact that people like, we want to know what happens here, here, and here. I'm like, guys, there's something about the mystique of going in not knowing what's going to happen. It
Right.
makes me wish we could have one of those neuralizer things from Men in Black, so you could just erase your memories here. Like when they're fresh, you could watch stuff fresh. But it's like nowadays, it's like if you turn on Facebook, it's like this person dies in here, or this person lives, and this person killed him, and they set up for this one. It's like not all of us want to know that. If you want to know it, go tell your friends. But don't put it on social media where we
Fuck
all
that.
can see it.
Fucking
It's
I'll spoil shit.
like,
I don't care. You can tell me what happens in episode 9. It's not going to stop me from going to fucking watch it. The
No, I
fucking
know.
spoiling bullshit. Don't feed me that shit. And of course, Trek's got to fucking do a goddamn fucking movie reference.
Hey, it's Empire Strikes Back. It makes sense.
Hey, I mean, I used the reference last night with Disney. I mean, I remember as a kid, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. It was just a car you got in, you went around, it showed you all different kinds of things with lasers and lights. And now you go to the Disney parks and you've got the virtual reality stuff, you've got everything that is up to today's standards that people want to see, and they're getting it right there at their fingertips.
And it's
And
also, oh, good, right.
what are you
Sorry.
going to do? Yeah, what are you going to do down the road to make it even better to bring in more people? And Disney's always going to have people, but it was just so simpler back in the day.
Right. And it's gotten worse now because look at the Pirates of the Caribbean controversy with that ride that they're like, the pirates are like manhandling women and stuff. We can't have that. It's like, it's been that way for 50 years and now you're bitching about it? Come on.
Right. I'm gonna say this, Arushin Chu. I'm gonna ask you this, and then I would like your thoughts. Just not right now, but the next time I talk to you. Why do you not like Star Wars? Is it because of what happened in Episode 8? Why? Because they took a chance on something new? There's nothing wrong with what they did. I'm sorry. People saying that and that's not an SJW thing either. Everybody says it's an SJW movie. No, it's not. The SJWs, if they don't like something, then they'll want it changed. But Star Wars put something out there. The SJW agenda, that's not even close to what an SJW agenda is. Not even close.
If you want the SJW agenda in Star Wars, look what's going on with with the Princess Leia and the gold bikini thing. They got on Disney's ass about that. Disney's like, nope, no more of that.
That's not true. It's not true. But anyway. Oh, well. I could watch it over and over and over and over again. I fucking love Star Wars. Um, I've got all the fucking movies and I'll watch them. I fucking love them. But I understand why. I just don't want people fucking saying, "Well, it's the SJW agenda." Oh, shut the fuck up. Give me that shit. Just because they took a chance on something new, people didn't
Right.
like it. That's the issue. It's because they took a chance on something new and people are confused by it. Whatever. Shut the fuck up.
It's like we said, you're never gonna be able to please everyone. Just try and please the fans you can.
If you don't like it, don't fucking watch it then.
Exactly.
That's all I can say. And the same with fucking wrestling. Yes, I fucking said if you don't like it, don't fucking watch it. Nobody asked you to. Nobody's making you do anything you don't want. It's a free fucking country. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Do what you want to do. And it's the same thing. In summary, it's the same thing with the fucking wrestlers. If they want to go to fucking WWE, it's their life. They can do whatever the fuck they want. But you better fucking, because WWE's not going to release people. Once you sign your contract, you're stuck. They ain't going to release people. Unless they realize you're not going anywhere, and then they just send you on your, because you suck. You don't fit into what WWE's trying to do.
And
Does anybody have any other thoughts at all?
All I could say is you can't make someone sign something when they don't want to sign it.
True. Ronnie, what about you?
And pretty much to add on to that, I mean, everybody's their own person. I mean, you make your own decisions, you make your bed, you lie in it, and pretty much you decide you're going to go with WWE, then you're going to abide by what their contract is that you agreed to.
Yep. I agree. With that being said, Bobbit, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right. Sorry, man. I know you're not feeling good and stuff.
There is stuff you wanted to do for your channel here.
There is something that you wanted to put out for your wrestling promotion. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, and then we'll end the show here, guys.
Okay, I got to thinking long and hard about this card. I even consulted a priest, and of course the motherfucker didn't help me with anything. But what can you do? Alright, so the kickoff match I'm thinking will be Captain Mountain Dew versus Captain Monster.
All right. Okay.
He's been begging me for a match ever since he won the Rumble, so I gotta feel it somehow.
All right, fair enough.
Alright, then we got the men's Money in the Stank match.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna. Alright, hang on, let me. Alright. The participants are Shrek, Captain Banana, me, Danrex, Captain Fanta, and Alpha Excalibur.
And who?
Alpha Excalibur.
Okay, that's 6. Okay.
After that, we'll do Heather versus Gina for the women's title.
Okay.
I'm screwed.
Well, both of you are screwed. I'm just kidding.
Because Alexa Bliss is probably going to interfere.
Moving on. Go ahead, Bobby.
Okay, I'm thinking.
Don't think too hard.
Is that small burning?
Should have had this written down, brother. It's all right.
And after that, we got the women's Money in the Stank match.
And who is in that?
We have
Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, Alexa Bliss, Sarah, Ronnie,
Well, we have no chance, Sarah.
Dory, the loser of the Heather versus Gina match, and a new person that I'm currently making right now.
Okay, so a special, a new talent being brought in.
And then, like I said, we'll do Rey Mysterio versus well, mystery partner. I can't remember the other dude's name.
Okay, okay, gotcha. And then there's one more match. I know that.
Yep, JP versus the Himmel God for the BCW World Title.
And did you accept the stipulation that I had?
If JP loses, he's retiring.
Okay, fair enough. Anything else?
That is your card.
Is there anything else you wanted to add, or is that it?
Oh, next week, I will reveal the new name. BCW is officially dead. We're starting over with the rebranding of the company.
Okay.
We're not going to change champions. We're not going to change champions immediately. We're wanting to change name and all that. So
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
it's time for a refresh.
Okay, we got it. You said that 3 times now. Is there anything else
I know.
Is there anything else you want to put out?
Also, check out my Twitter Saturday. I'm changing my name as well.
Oh, okay. All right, man. Sounds good. Anything else? You want to take us out, if nothing else?
Yeah, I think so. Thank you for tuning in tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoy the conversation that these lovely people was having. Sorry I didn't speak much, but I've been under the weather all day today. So we'll see you guys next week. Love y'all and stay sexy. Bye.
My ball's your chin.